Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the great sports show RamCenter. I'm your co-host James Jackson.
And I'm McKercher. Jay, man, another great show lined up. I can't wait for the show. It's got good news, it's got bad news, but it's got everything.
It does have everything, and from a wide range of sports. We have another great in-studio interview. Looks like a national competitor stopped by RamCenter today. I'm excited.
Can't wait, man. We talked to him the other night. He's excited. I'm excited, man. It's going to be a great show. And, I had to bring out the Blazers.
You did have to bring out the Blazers.
That's how good I'm feeling about it.
You're feeling great. I may not look as great, but I'm feeling just as great as you, buddy.
Always look good, brother.
So let's do it. It's RamCenter.
And it starts right now.
Time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. Welcome to.
And welcome back. This is RamCenter. James Jackson to my left alongside Spencer McKercher. Let's get started. And we'll start the show off with our men's basketball team. And hey, it's going to start bad, but I promise it will end up with all good news at the end. But we'll start with the bad news. Last Wednesday night, our men's basketball team fell to Shippensburg 87-79 in the PSAC quarterfinals in Hollinger. The Golden Rams came into the game as the number 2 seed in the PSAC and number 24 team ranked in the country. Despite shooting over 90%, 25 of 27, from the charity stripe for just the third time this season, the Golden Rams are unable to overcome a season-low 4 of 23 from beyond the arc, and it led to the defeat. Wednesday's defeat dropped Westchester to 21-6 overall and halts the Golden Rams' postseason run in the PSAC quarterfinals for the second time in the last 3 seasons. Trailing by 9 points, 40-31 to start the second half, the Golden Rams strung together 6 unanswered points to hack the Raiders' advantage to just 4 with 17:35 left on the clock. Despite the Westchester charge, Shippensburg was able to maintain its lead and eventually stretch the cushion to as many as 14 with just over 12 to go in regulation. With Ship on top 73-64, the Golden Rams went on a run, led by a 3-pointer by freshman Eric Longino, paired with a jumper from Jackson Highland, which inched Westchester within 4, 73-69 with 2 minutes to go. However, 4 points would be just as close as the Golden Rams would get for the remainder of the second half, as Ship was able to extend its lead to 10 points on 4 separate occasions in the final 2 minutes and came out on top. Westchester connected on a poor 36.8% of its shots from the floor. Tyrell Long paced Westchester with 23 points, while Highland added 22 and a team-high 8 rebounds in the loss. Longino chipped in 13 points against the Raiders, and Frank Rokins and Matt Pennicow both combined for 21 points in Wednesday's contest. However, I said it wasn't all bad. On Thursday, 4 of our 5 starters were named All-PSAC, including Tyrell Long, who was All-PSAC East first team for the first time in his career, while Jackson Highland and Matt Pennicow both landed on the All-PSAC East second team after both having outstanding junior campaigns. Fellow junior Frank Rokins came away with a major accolade on Thursday's release, becoming just the second Golden Ram ever to be named PSAC East Defensive Athlete of the Year since the award's inception during the 2012 year. Then, on Sunday night, the team got the news it's been waiting for. We're headed to the tournament. The NCAA Division II Basketball Selection Committee granted the Golden Rams a 6th seed in the Atlantic region, and they will face off against Wheeling Jesuit from West Virginia on March 9th at VSU Multipurpose Center on the campus of Virginia State University. The Golden Rams will be looking for their first win in the Big Dance in program history. You know, Jay, and I didn't really realize that we're 0-9. This is our 10th appearance in the tournament since 1983. We need one win, and I think this is the team to do it.
This is absolutely the team to do it. When we go back to the PSAC loss in the quarterfinals, we did things that a Westchester team does when it wins, right? We took care of the ball, had balance going on the offensive end, didn't get out-rebounded by as much as the scoreboard may look, and especially watching the game, it looked like Shippensburg was really able to control like the boards, but it wasn't that big in the margin. But I mean, you live by the jumper, you die by the jumper, right? 36% from behind the arc isn't going to do it.
No, 36% from the field. We were 423 from beyond the arc. It's that shooting woes that won't do it. You know, Dustin Silva, a kid from Ship, their all-time leading scorer, he had a field day. We had a field day. We didn't have the size to guard him. And you know, it's tough. It's tough. And I think coming down, I mean, the energy was there. We were both there. The energy was amazing. Yep. You know, we have those games, bad shooting games. You know, but a lot to look forward to in the next few weeks.
And there's one thing that Damian Blair can really hang his hat on as head coach of this Westchester team, and it's preparation. He is instrumental in his preparation of what he needs to get ready for his team to do and what he needs to prepare for his team for what, you know, their opponents are going to do. I guarantee you he's been scouting Wheeling Jesuit ever since this announcement got made. Right. And he's going to attack their weaknesses and make sure that Westchester strengths are on the forefront.
Exactly. You know, the only thing that worries me, we talked to Jackson a few times, they don't like playing on the road, especially just in a hostile, you know, neutral environment. So I don't know how that. I hope it plans out well for him. I think it will. I have confidence in the boys. So hopefully we'll make a smooth transition.
And I mean that's where the senior leadership steps in, from Tyrell Long, from Frank Rokins, from Matt Pennegow, now from Jackson Hyler, who can consider himself an elder and a leader on that team.
Absolutely.
But I mean the freshmen and both Blair and Long have talked about this extensively, is that their freshmen and their young players are great at stepping up. Right. Great at coming off the bench, staying in their roles and contributing to the team. And hopefully that translates out on the road.
I think it will. I think it will. And I'm looking forward to, they didn't release it, but I think it is Friday, this coming Friday. So they didn't release the time, but yeah, we'll be tuned in.
Yeah, we'll absolutely.
Have to.
That's right. So now we transition to our women's basketball team, who had a strong showing in the quarterfinals of the PSAC tournament with an exciting 81-72 victory over Kutztown, but then struggled, however, in the semifinal matchup against Edinburgh as our Lady Rams fell hard, 106-78, which, frankly, Spencer, is not something we're used to saying on this season of RamCenter at all. Westchester fell into a rabbit hole very early in this game as Edinburgh jumped out to an 18-point lead in the first quarter and just would not look back from there. A jumper by WCU guard Lexi Anderson to start the second quarter trimmed the WCU deficit to 16 points before the Fighting Scots answered back with a 7-1 run of their own to stretch the advantage to 22 with just under 7 minutes remaining in the opening half. That lead would stretch to ultimately 26 as the ladies went into the locker room at halftime, just not a sight that we want to see. Unfortunately, the second half proved more of the same, as Edinburgh was able to maintain a 20-plus point lead for a majority of the final 20 minutes. And get this, Westchester was only able to bring it under 20 points for a 30-second span for the entire game. That came in the fourth quarter. A jumper by Ayana Vaughn ended the game and gave the Fighting Scots their 106-78 victory on Saturday, which punched Edinburgh's ticket to the tournament final. On Westchester's end, senior Mia Hopkins paced the Lady Rams and attacked with 16 points against Edinburgh, while sophomore Gabrielle Chirosi notched her second double-double of the season with 13 points and 10 boards. Senior Portia Spella added her usual 14 points in Saturday's loss, and fellow senior Lexi Bruno handed out a team-high 5 dimes to go along with 13 points against the Fighting Scots. The ladies must shake off this loss and shake it off quickly because it's time to go dancing as well. Westchester women's basketball team is headed to the NCAA tournament as a 7 seed and will travel to Virginia to face the number 2 seed Glenville State College on Sunday, March 9th. And Spencer, it's almost a little bit of the same as why the girls lost and the boys lost. Let's read off some of these stats here. 35% from the field. They shot 27 for 77. I want to address that before we get to anything else. Though not only did they only hit on 35% from the field, they put up 77 shots. What does that tell you?
It tells you that we weren't ready for Edinburgh. I mean, we can't just force. We were forcing a lot of shots. We had to force a lot of shots. 77 shots in a contest. I haven't heard that in a long time. What does it tell you?
It tells me that when you have a bad shooting percentage, but you don't have a lot of a shot total, it tells me you're getting good looks, you weren't hitting them.
Right.
You put up 77 shots and only hit 27 of them, that means you were forcing a lot of shots, taking bad shots, and taking bad shots frequently, and not getting them to fall. And we know we have streaky scorers, right? Portia Speller, one of the streakiest scorers in the PSAC, which is what makes her so dangerous as a player. But a player like that doesn't get it going, and they start to try to force, right? They start to try to put up shots when they really shouldn't put up shots, and they were bricks, unfortunately.
And you know, that's just how we are. That's you know, we rely on Bonner and Portia and Trosi and stuff. We rely on them to shoot the three, and you know, and obviously we weren't getting the looks. And Edinburgh's a great team. Nothing against the Fighting Scots, which was a weird name, but nothing against them. They're really good. They're very good, and I'm going to see them in the tournament as well. But I think we have to rebound. We have to bounce back here. Led by Mia, led by Portia, led by Camden. I think we'll be okay.
Well, and it's funny you say that for Mia. We're not used to seeing Mia Hopkins and Trocy. Trocy gets on the inside too.
Right.
She had her 10 boards. Mia Hopkins, I believe, had 6 boards of her own that game. But as a team, Westchester was out rebounded 51-36. That's something I do not think we've said all season in RamCenter. They've been out rebounded, but not out rebounded 15.
No, not by that margin at all. I don't think that's ever even been close to that. So I think either way, it was a tough game for us, and to give up 106 points too, I think that's a little scary.
Yeah.
We're not used to seeing 106 points in a girls game, let alone a Westchester women's game, but going forward, I think they'll be okay. Well, we didn't win 18 straight games for nothing.
That's true. And what really hurts is when a team jumps out to an 18-point lead in the first quarter. Like, they got on them quickly, and it's once you have an 18-point hold, there's so many things to address and so many things you need to fix that sometimes you can't fix them all.
Right.
And that's what happened. A positive, though, we did have 5 scores in double figures. So that's the balanced scoring
that we're used to.
That you can look for a Westchester team.
Exactly.
So they got to continue that. Let's not take that for granted. That's something very good to see. It's something that Kira Wooden very stresses. That's when you get good looks from multiple people.
Absolutely.
It's the 27 for 77. I don't know if any team in history can come out of that performance.
Absolutely not. But we are the only Division II team in the entire country to have our men and women's teams in the tournament. So, hey,
What we call that?
That's Ram Excellence.
That's Ram Excellence.
That's absolutely Ram Excellence.
Speaking of Ram Excellence, we're going to let Tyler take it away as he's going to talk to a national competitor, our man Justice Norman from the track team. All you, Ty.
What's up, Rams? Tyler Jefferson here. Feels good to be back in the studio after unfortunately missing a week. Today with me I have Justice Norman, member of our men's track and field team. What's up, man? How you feeling today?
Feeling good, thank you.
So to start off, just telling me and those watching some basic information about yourself. Where you come from, what you studying in school, what's your plans for after college?
All right, yeah. So I was born in Arlington, Texas. I lived there until I was about 8, and then lived in Jersey, lived in Philly, lived in Lancaster. I went to high school in Lancaster. So yeah, basically after high school, I had the opportunity to run track here at Westchester. I took that opportunity, and my major is pre-physical therapy, so exercise science.
Oh man, you've been around. You just named like 4 or 5 different places. What high school did you go to?
Conestoga Valley.
Conestoga, I heard of that. Yeah. So what made you want to come to Westchester?
Basically, I was always like a football athlete, and then I got injured. I broke my back actually, and then senior year, I took track really seriously, and I fell in love with it. And then it led me to my coach, and then from there it's history.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you're from Texas. You moved here around northeast area when you were about 8. Mm-hmm. Is there anything like that you remember about Texas, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously like my whole family lives in Texas, so Texas, when you think of Texas, you just think of, the hot weather, the tornado warnings, just thinking back at it, the Texas Fair. That was probably one of the biggest things I remember.
So do you still go back there like constantly? Do you have family there?
Actually, I'm going to take another trip back there this summer. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but like now that I'm older, I can take some time off and then go ahead to Texas for a little bit.
Texas, I don't think I know anybody that lives in Texas, but so recently you guys team were a part of the PSAC championships, and I know y'all probably didn't achieve as much success as I know you thought y'all did. You finished in 5th place collectively, but individually it was a very awarding and eventful weekend for you. You had 2 first place honors, all region honors, and you were named most outstanding field athlete of the week. How you feel about those accomplishments?
Yeah. So first, the men's team, we did place highest that we ever have. So that was a great accomplishment for the team. We didn't bring as many people as we usually do, but like even then the people that we brought, they really did a great job. They really performed outstandingly, and so shout outs to them. And then personally, I went in the favorite for long jump, and I won long jump the last 2 seasons. So I was still the favorite, and I felt confident going into that event. And second event was triple jump. I wasn't seated first, but like I'm still pretty confident in that event. And it's like I said, it's history. Like
you were still able to obviously obtain a trophy for that one.
Yeah.
So what's your mindset and the team's mindset going into PSAC, and how do you feel about it now that it's over?
Yeah, so basically we just go in there, we just execute. We control the things that that are possible to control. Like, you don't worry about all the outside noise and like all the seeds and who's ranked ahead of you and stuff like that. Because most of that stuff you can't control. So
Yeah, it's just
so you go in there and you do your job.
Go out there and compete. So, you know, due to your amazing performance at PSEC Championships, your amazing performance throughout the whole season, you were selected to go to the national championships. And I just want to congratulate you for that. I know that's a huge accomplishment. That's a big deal, man. How do you feel about that one?
I mean, I've been, yeah, like I'm really excited. I've been dreaming about this, and this has been my goal since I came to Westchester. Like this is almost like a dream come true. Like getting there was a huge accomplishment, and I know I still got work to do once I get there. So I'm still pretty level-headed right now.
Yeah,
not letting the
definitely.
excitement get to me, but like when we get there, it's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, NCAA championships is big no matter what sport. Has anyone from Westchester, when's the last time anyone from Westchester was selected to nationals? Do you know?
Well, on the men's side, I'm not sure. It might have been Eric Broadbent a few years, probably about 10 years back, and then I think on the women's side we had Kayla Owens, who was here when I was here, so about 4 years ago.
About a couple years ago, and
Yeah.
I know you feel great about being the one to break the men's, you know, streak of not having someone selected, and not
Trying to set the precedence, like
Yeah.
get us back there.
I know the team's proud of you, and I know I'm proud. I know the whole Westchester's proud of you to have someone representing for them. So you're a senior. You've been on the team for 4 years. How has this season in particular been different than the previous 3?
I'll say first from a leadership standpoint, you know, all eyes are basically like focused on me and the seniors, and like we're just trying to lead by example and give our 2 cents whenever we feel like it's necessary. And specifically for this season, like it's really just it's important to like take the opportunity and just to bring it all in, and like remember that like you're here for a reason. That this is like this is just not, I don't know. It's just really important
Yeah,
to like.
you don't want to
keep
take it for granted.
Yeah, like, that's exactly it. I don't want to take it for granted. So like I really appreciate this moment and everybody that shows love and everybody that's like supported me throughout this entire experience.
Yeah, so you've experienced the whole student athlete experience, 4 years, like I said. So to upcoming young athletes, not just college, but you know, high school and further down, what is one piece of advice you would give to them now that you've been an athlete pretty much your whole life?
Yeah. So I would first say, I would just say, trust the process. Like honestly, it's you will face many adversities. You will have many things come up that are unexpected, and the way you deal with those will shape out your student career, your athletic career, your character. So like the things that you can build here, it's really important to just keep persevering through that.
That's a great piece of advice. It's definitely good for them to just remember everything you just said. That's all the time we have here today, folks. Again, I'm Tyler Jefferson here. We have Justice Norm. I want to thank you for coming out. And once again, I wish you the best of luck in nationals.
Thank you.
Wish you bring home, just wish you bring it home. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope everyone have a great spring break, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Ty, for another great interview. It's not just playoff time for the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team, too, right? Track team.
Indoor track season,
Yeah.
right before the outdoor track season, but a great PSAC championships. I mean, we have a good friend on the track team,
Yeah.
Brady Thayer, had a great meet. I'm proud of him, but Justice is the man.
Oh, how about this? Individual titles in both the triple jump and the long jump, which got him field athlete of the meet for the PSAC championships. That's amazing.
And going into the NCAAs, he's ranked 15th in long jump in the country.
Yeah.
So it's one to be like ranked, nationally as a team, but to be individual ranked nationally,
I think
something.
people got to put this in perspective. He's 15th out of, I don't know how many long jumpers and triple jumpers there could be in the country. He's the top 15.
Top 15. That's Ram excellent.
At its finest. So now we transition to our baseball team. And after a surprising 1-2 start to the season, our baseball team looks to be back in championship form after riding a 3-game winning streak. The first game was a rout of the University of Sciences, 21-6. But the next 2 were a doubleheader against Southern New Hampshire University by scores of 5-3 and then 11-1. But let's talk about the doubleheader. Westchester, who came into the game ranked number 15 in the nation, was able to pull off the sweep of number 11 Southern New Hampshire, who was riding a 7-game winning streak of their own prior to the game, but that quickly came to an end. Jared Malone had the hot hand and the sweet stroke in this tournament as he went a combined 7 for 9 with a double and a home run over the 2 games. Game 1 was a battle as WCU put up a single tally in each of the final 3 innings of the game to complete the come-from-behind win. Leadoff hitter Justin Horn knocked in the runs in the 7th and 8th inning, while John Henson had the RBI in the 9th that added the insurance that Westchester needed. But Game 2 was a lot more decisive from the gate. Malone hit a 3-run homer in the 4th to put our visitors up 6-1. However, it was a 5-run 7th inning that included 3 errors, 2 wild pitches, and 1 hit batsman. Oh my! And all that put the game all but out of reach for Southern New Hampshire. Again, the Rams secured the Game 2 victory 11-1. Westchester now improves to 5-2 after that lackluster start and will attend one more tournament before its regular season play starts. The men are headed to Kissimmee, Florida for the Rusmat Invitational over spring break. And, I mean, it must be nice for the baseball team. They got Myrtle Beach. Then they go down to Kissimmee, Florida. I've never heard of Kissimmee, Florida.
Over their spring breaks, which
Florida,
is just natural, I guess, you know?
It's Florida over spring break, but they're not just going there, you know, for a spring break trip. They're going there to handle business, and it's about time that they started to handle business.
Exactly. You know, Jared Malone, he was named PSAC East Baseball Player of the Week this past week. He was named it today. A fantastic accomplishment. The kid is on fire.
Yeah, he is.
The kid is on fire. We didn't even talk about his big game, the 26 to what was it?
21-6.
21-6 route. You know, he had such a big game there, but the kid is on fire. We're finally clicking, you know, after the slow start that we're not used to. But we're clicking now at the right time, and I think just heading down to Kissimmee, we're going to put a name on Westchester.
We better have a name after being the defending national champions. But you're right, the sliding from 2 to 15 after the first week, people kind of go, okay, Westchester doesn't have it anymore. And now it's time to reassert ourselves.
Exactly.
Right? What I want to talk about is this pitching. And we talked about it when we did the baseball preview a couple weeks ago on RamCenter, that the pitching is what is going to do it for us. And we're back on the right spot with this pitching. Starting pitcher for Game 2, Mike Sapola, went 6 innings, 1 earned, and 3 strikeouts. And then in relief, Tim Edwards finished out the final 3 innings, had no earned runs, and then got the W. And then in Game 2 was more the same. Zach Rice, starting pitcher, went 6 strong, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts, and then a plethora of pitches came in after that for the final 3. We get dominant pitching like that, plus our offense. If they can hold teams to about 3 runs scored, that's all this offense needs.
That's all we need. We need a nice balanced attack on pitching and hitting, and we called that. We literally called that. If we have a nice balance, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but if we have that nice balance, I think we'll be fine. Pitching is so strong the past week, and if we can keep the hot bats, we'll be just fine.
What is something that I wasn't anticipating, but something that it looks like, and it's hard to get, you know, a good idea of a Rams strategy after a 21-6 game and an 11-1 game, because those are routes. You experiment in blowouts, but it looks like it's going to be a bullpen by committee, right? We thought we were going to have a clear setup man and a clear closer, but we had 4 different pitchers finish out the final 3 innings in between the 2 games.
Right.
0 earned runs between those 4 pitchers. That's just dominance on the stripe.
That's all we need, and if we can get a strong bullpen, it's going to be hard to lose games, especially down the stretch.
Especially coming back up to PSAC play. We're beating national teams. Coming back home, we're right in our element. That's in our wheelhouse, right?
Can't wait, man. The weather's warming up, so it's baseball season, man. I love it.
Get the sunflower seeds out.
Absolutely. So we'll transition to our women's LAC team, and I'll tell you what, they are special. The Lady Rams are now ranked 14th in the country after the new IAALCA, that's tough, rankings were released on Monday morning, coming off a huge 24-1 win over Jefferson University at Vonnie Gross Field here at Westchester University. A total of 10 different players from the back of the net for the Lady Rams, led by Tatum Altman and Sammy Barnett, who each tallied 4 goals in last Thursday's contest. The Ladies Rams controlled the pace and flow during the entire game, scoring the first 9 goals and then finished with 15 unanswered in the rout. Emily Schulz and Tara Morrissey added a hat trick of their own, while 4 Lady Rams had 2 each. Nicole Martin only faced 5 shots in the first half and finished with 4 saves. Westchester starts the season 2-0 and will face Tiffin University on March 6th. I'll tell you what, man, I told you, we'd start the show, you know, not with the greatest of news, but progressively got better. And I'll tell you what, man, our Lady Rams women's lax team, they are on fire, and it's a great start to the season.
And it's something that we knew was going to carry from last season to this season. That's a very strong play in the net and a crazy strong attack, and that's led by Sammy Barnett, who did her thing in that last game with 4 goals. But then I want to talk about Martins and net, which, I mean, she only faced, 4 or 5 shots in the first half. But she is a stone wall in that net. And if we can continue to get that, what she did last year, and continue that strong bounce attack, that's yet another Rams team that's going to be scary to face and very hard to beat.
Absolutely. You know, going in, 10 different players on our team scored. You know, you don't really see that in any sport.
Right,
you know,
not
hockey,
yeah.
including lacrosse with men's or women's. It's tough, but we're so balanced, like we just talked about our baseball team, so balanced, and with a strong goaltender, with even stronger offense. And I think the thing that's surprising is our defense. You know, our goaltender only faced 5 shots the entire first half.
Right.
5 shots.
Speaks a lot to the defense.
It speaks a lot to our defensive side, and I think going forward we'll continue to speak highly of our women's lacrosse team.
It's funny because last year we had a lot of young Westchester programs. Now they all grew up, and now we have a lot of experienced Westchester programs. That women's lacrosse team is one of those very experienced programs. It's going to show early in the season. It's just going to continue.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, hey, we're now going to send it over to Drew, who is doing the Olympic update, even though they finished. But hey, take it away, Drew.
What up, Rams? I'm Drew Clark giving you a special pro sports update on the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. It has definitely been an exciting couple weeks in South Korea as Team USA comes home with a total of 23 Olympic medals, 9 gold, 8 silver, and 6 bronze, coming in 4th in the total amount of medals won. The U.S. women's hockey team beat Canada 3-2 for the first time in 20 years in the games, winning gold in a thrilling shootout. In skiing, Michaela Schifrin won 2 medals, winning gold in women's giant slalom and silver in women's alpine skiing combined. Britta Sigourney and Nick Gopper won bronze and silver in women's halfpipe and men's slopestyle. Best friends David Weiss and Alex Ferreira won gold and silver in men's freestyle halfpipe. David Weiss defended his gold title despite falling on his first 2 runs. He needed to do something big to be considered for the podium, and big was delivered with his last run earning a score of 97.20. It's not often that Team USA dominates a single sport in the Winter Olympics, but when it comes to snowboarding, dominate they shall, as 17-year-olds Red Gerard and Chloe Kim attend their first Olympic Games, winning gold for men's slopestyle and women's halfpipe, while veterans Jamie Anderson and Shaun White win gold for women's slopestyle and men's halfpipe. Jamie Anderson also winning silver in women's big air. We also have Kyle Mack and Ariella Gold winning silver in men's big air and bronze in women's halfpipe. These snowboarders are definitely making a name for themselves and quickly going back to Red Gerard and his rocky start as he fell during his first 2 runs in the finals, but won over the judges in his last run, jumping from 11th place to 1st with his final score an 87.16, becoming the youngest American male to win a gold medal. Talking about making a comeback. Chloe Kim also making a name for herself with her back-to-back 1080s in her final run, earning her the score of a 98.25, becoming the youngest woman to win an Olympic medal in snowboarding. Shaun White, the king, came to Pyeongchang with vengeance after his fail in the 2014 Sochi Olympics, making it up by winning his 3rd gold medal in the halfpipe, his final score being 97.75. The next Winter Games will be hosted in Beijing, China in 2022. But if you don't think you can wait 4 years, in 2020, 2 years from now, Tokyo, Japan will be hosting the Summer Olympics. That's all I got for you, Rams. I'm Drew Clark, now to Tay with Pro Sports.
What's going on, Rams? I'm Taylor Christensen, and I'm back with another Pro Sports update. It's officially NFL draft season with the scouting combine getting underway this past weekend, and many prospects did the best they could to showcase their talents. Many eyes were on top prospects like Sam Darnold and Saquon Barkley, but it was University of Central Florida linebacker Shaquem Griffin who stole the show. Griffin ran a ridiculous 4.38 40-yard dash, the fastest time for a linebacker since 2003. He was also able to put up 20 reps at 225 pounds on the bench press, and he did it all with just one hand. Griffin's left hand was amputated when he was 4 years old, but that didn't stop him from showing to the scouts that he's the real deal. While many mock drafts predict him to go in the later rounds of the draft, Griffin's stellar combine performance, along with his clear determination, make him one of the best draft stories in quite some time. On to NHL action. Don't look now, but here come the Philadelphia Flyers. After a disappointing first half to the season, punctuated by a 10-game losing streak, yes, I said 10, the Fly Guys are currently just 2 points out of first place of the NHL's Metropolitan Division, widely considered the best division in hockey. The Flyers' mid-season resurgence would not be possible without the stellar play from their captain Claude Giroux, who currently sits third in league scoring behind only superstars Connor McDavid, Evgeny Malkin, and Nikita Kucherov. Giroux and the Flyers will look to become the first team in league history to lose 10 in a row and make the playoffs, just 1 year after they became the first team in league history to win 10 in a row and miss out on the postseason. Bonkers, if you ask me. That's all I have for your Pro Sports Update. I'm Taylor Christensen. Now to Reggie with This Day in Sports.
Hello, Rams. Reggie Deli here with your Today in Sports History Update. On March 5th, 1996, the Dallas Mavericks attempted 49 three-pointers in a single game. Now, there were no Steph Currys, Reggie Millers, or Ray Allens on that team, but that was unheard of at the time of a big man-driven league. The all-time record for most three-pointers attempted is by Mike D'Antoni's Houston Rockets offense in 2016 with an attempt of 61. Also on this day in 1985, Mike Bossy of the New York Islanders became cemented in NHL history. The four-time Stanley Cup winner became the NHL's first player to get 50 goals in 8 consecutive seasons. He is now tied with Wayne Gretzky with 9 consecutive seasons with 50 goals. That's pretty good company for Bossy. I'm Reggie Dudley with this segment of Today in Sports. Now over to Tyler Jefferson for Top Plays.
What's up, Rams? Tyler Jefferson here with this week Top Plays. We start our top plays with Cavaliers' Larry Nance delivering another ridiculous dunk over Mason Plumlee. Earlier this season, he had a numerous amount of crazy dunks for Los Angeles Lakers, and it's safe to say he's in Cleveland doing the same exact thing. At number 4, Lindell Wigginton of Iowa State drops through the lane and throws down a ferocious dunk against Oklahoma State. Probably should have been called a foul, but that didn't matter to Wigginton as he was able to bounce right back up following his monster dunk. At number 3, Philly native Jaquan Newton of the University of Miami knocks down a three-point buzzer beater just in front of half court to beat the North Carolina Tar Heels and left everyone in the Dean Smith Center shocked. UNC was able to tie the game up with a crazy three-pointer of their own, but yet it still wasn't enough as Newton dribbled the ball down court with 4 seconds left to deliver a crushing game winner. At number 2, we have LeBron James not only going behind the back to split 2 Sixers defenders, he was able to split the legs of teammate Tristan Thompson as he made his way to the basket for an and one. It was such a beautiful move, it left LeBron surprised because he didn't even know what he pulled off until he saw the replay. With our number 1 player of the week, a play that has been all over sports shows and social media, James Harden sends Wesley Johnson down with a beautiful step-back crossover. This crossover had everyone watching. This crossover left everyone watching with their mouth wide open, even Johnson himself, as all he could do was smile on his way back down the court. I'm Tyler Jefferson, and this is your top plays of the week. Back to James and Spence in the studio.
Thanks, Reg. Another This Day in Pro Sports. I love that segment, man.
Yeah.
It's a great segment. It's one of my favorites.
It's one of your favorites because that's what you started out way yonders ago on
2 years ago
RamCenter.
now, man.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Well, it looks like Reggie had some big shoes to fill, but he filled them nicely.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Hey, that's all the time we have for this episode of RamCenter. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WCU RamCenter, and never, ever forget to smack that like button on our Facebook page, WCU RamCenter. As always, I'm Spencer McKercher.
And I'm James Jackson, reminding everybody to stay golden Dub C and have a safe spring break. Don't do anything we wouldn't do.
Never.
We'll see you back here next time.
Welcome to